Okay, take two. Strength Student Podcast, episode 69.
69, baby.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Strength Students Podcast. I'm your co-host, Steve Cardi.
And I am... what was that?
Putting a little accents on our names now.
I'm Nick Scopaletti.
We have a great show for you today, guys. Talking to Danny Lehr from Caffeine Kilos.
Yeah.
Talk a little weightlifting, talk a little coffee, talk a little Harry Potter.
69?
Episode 69.
69. He was thrilled.
The coveted episode 69 is here.
We just wanted to get to episode 69, and now we're going to stop doing the podcast.
Show's over. So, Danny Lehr's on the show today, and we can't wait to talk about weightlifting. But before we do that, how are you doing, man? How's your training?
Good, yo. I'm excited. I'm just going to go bodybuild today. I'm really excited.
Nice.
I don't know why. I'm just like, I'm just going to go do this today.
What are you going to do?
Chest and back.
Nice.
Favorite combo ever, besides an Italian combo.
Hey.
Oh.
Good one.
God.
Yeah, I'm splitting up CrossFit and weightlifting right now. I'm doing weightlifting a couple days, CrossFit a couple days. Not trying to go too ham in one thing. Like, I want to do weightlifting, and I'm competing in weightlifting, but I also want to be able to recover and do some light, high intensity stuff.
Enjoy your life.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, Danny Lehr goes into that a little bit.
Yeah.
About competitive weightlifting. Spoiler. But yeah, I actually did a CrossFit workout yesterday, full bore for the first time in a while, and it fucked me up. So I really need to get back on that. Need to increase my fitness.
Fatness.
No, shitness.
What?
I think that's how it's pronounced.
That's the French version.
Announcements before we start here, everybody. Make sure you guys go to all of our social media. Facebook, go ahead, give us a like.
Instagram.
Go to Instagram, follow us, then follow us to our cars. Go to Twitter. Make sure you check us out there. All of that stuff is at Strength Students Podcast. Then, once you're done with that and you want to see more content, go to YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher, 5-star review, give us a like, lend us your feedback, and we would love to hear from you. And your car. All right. I think it's about time. About time to slide into those DMs and send some news. What do we got for you this week, guys? So we have an article by Mark Sisson, a little older article, but a great article about caffeine. We actually are talking a little bit about caffeine and coffee today. So our article this week from Mark Sisson on Mark's Daily Apple, just about whether or not you should be consuming caffeine before your workouts. And he kind of goes through, more like HIIT workouts and long endurance workouts and like weightlifting workouts and the benefits and what coffee does. And it's actually a very good article as far as, what are the ins and outs of intaking caffeine before you work out. So link is going to be in the description. We're going to post that shit on Facebook, and we're going to post that shit everywhere else. So you guys can read that.
We talk about it a little bit in the podcast. Danny talks about it being one of the most highly tested ergogenic aids out there, and it works. Fucking works. So.
Yeah, it's good stuff. So, without further ado, we are going to present to you Danny Lehr, founder of Caffeine Kilos.
One preface before we get started. My microphone wasn't working so well.
Yeah, little audio difficulties, little technical difficulties.
So you'll hear Steve, you'll hear Danny, and that's what really counts. But me, kind of. So just really listen close. We apologize for the...
Listen, we're going to edit the fuck out of that shit, and it's going to be great.
Say we, I mean Steve.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know what I'm doing.
But yeah, so here's Danny Lehr, guys. Hope you enjoy, and we will be right back. Seinfeld. Want more of the Strength Students Podcast? Go check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Also, make sure you leave us a 5-star review on iTunes and on Stitcher. Stitcher, I just met her. All right, guys, we are here with Danny Lehr. Lehr or Lehr?
It's Lehr.
Lehr, cool.
Danny Lehr.
Here on episode 69.
Got you on episode 69, Danny.
Oh, yeah, it's a good number.
Hey,
So check this out. I used to teach high school PE. All right. I taught high school PE for 8 years. And so these kids think they're like, everyone's a comedian, right? They think they're hot shit. So they're, say, we're doing a bunch of sit-ups or something. And on number 6, like everyone's like kind of counting, not really. It's like 66, 67, 68. And then like the whole class, 69, like screams it out, like kids start laughing, right? And so what I would do, instead of making like a thing, I would just be like, I don't understand. Why is that funny? Like, why'd everyone decide to count? Right? And like some people are like, ha ha. I'm like, no, seriously, like, I don't get it. Can you explain it to me? Can you please explain to me why that's funny? Like, you mean you don't get it? They were just like super embarrassed all of a sudden, right? So
they're like, I don't get it. Is this a trap? Should I do this? Should I not do this?
Yeah. So that's what I would always do. I'd just like turn it around on them. I'd just be like, can you explain why that's funny? I don't understand. And they're just like super embarrassed every damn time, right?
You ever had a kid that like actually explained it to you?
No, never. Because like even the kids that think they're well, you think that, but then like at the same time, think of when you were like 14. Like even if you think you're king shit, there's this all of a sudden there's like this 26-year-old man who's like, oh, explain that. You're like, oh fuck, So
your parents are like, oh, he's gonna tell my dad, my mom. And
yeah. Or it's just like weird, all of a sudden, Yeah. And then also pretty funny. I have a 4-year-old. And one day, for whatever reason, she just decided 69 is a funny number. Probably because she said it one time and we kind of laughed or something. But anyway, she'd be like, how many times? I'm like, I don't know. She's like, 20? I'm like, yeah, maybe 20. Like 69? I'm like, oh, shit. That was like the number she'd throw out all the time for a while. That's pretty funny.
Dude, your little daughter is secretly a bro. She's like a college bro.
Oh, no, it's not secret. She's a straight up.
That's amazing.
Everything's competition. All she wants to do is wrestle and race. And then real quick on my daughter is, can I do something? Can I tell a dad joke?
Yeah, yes. For sure.
Because I know in the intro you told a dad joke, right?
We love dad jokes, man.
Well, Steve loves them and I allow them. So,
all right. Well, so have you recorded? We're going to let people behind the scenes a little. Have you recorded the intro to this yet? Have you done your dad joke for this episode?
Negative, sir. You got it, man. It's all you.
Oh, shit. All right, here we go. All right. What did the buffalo say to his son before we went off for college?
What?
Bye, son.
I've actually heard that one.
I was going to say I've heard that one, and that's a solid go-to.
Okay. Let me try another one that you haven't heard.
One more. Dan.
Yeah, come on, man. Come on, let's go.
Why did the banker quit his job?
Why?
He lost interest.
I haven't heard that.
It's so fucking. It's just so easy and so like simple, and it gets me every time.
Yeah. And apparently in Japanese, there's not like a direct translation for the word pun. Like I guess when someone like says pun in Japanese, the direct translation is actually dad joke.
Oh shit! I like that.
I don't speak Japanese. I just heard that one time. I have no idea if it's true.
Well, you fucking do now, dude. You fucking know how to say pun.
Yeah. Tell everyone it's a fact also, because I have no way to disprove it.
That's a Danny Lehr fact.
Yeah, Danny Lehr fact. You heard it here first.
So speaking of Danny Lehr facts, we want to get to know a little more about you, Danny. So just give our audience kind of a brief bio, who you are, what you're doing now, and then we'll go into a little bit of your history too.
Yeah, my name is Danny Lehr. I am co-founder, co-owner of Caffeine Kilos. I also have a gym in California that's Excel Health and Fitness. It's home of CrossFit Excel. I guess that's kind of a current up to date. You want more?
I mean, yeah, sure, for sure.
You have. I mentioned we like looked you up. Obviously, we know who you are, and you got an impressive resume, man. You got, just go through all that. You got your master's. You taught PE. You have every certification under the sun, which is dope. So you value education clearly.
Yeah. So straight out of high school, went to college, graduated pretty quickly, started teaching PE. I was like 21 years old when I first started teaching. I taught for 8 years, and I coached wrestling actually for 10 years. That was kind of my love for a long time. And then I got into the gym at one point, and then the gym was going well, and then Caffeine Kilos started. And then at some point, I just kind of didn't have enough time in the day, so something's got to give, and that's why I quit teaching PE. Leading up to that, I have a master's degree in education with an emphasis in cross-cultural communication. whatever that means.
I was going to ask you what that means because I saw that, and could you go into that just a little bit? Just quick?
Yeah. So basically, it's just about educating people when there's language barriers or from different cultures. You know, different cultures have different ways they do things, and just kind of language is a big part of that. And so if you're teaching a class and say in your classroom there are 5 kids that don't speak English, how do you still, you know, give them the same education as the English speaking students? So that's kind of the whole idea there.
Okay, interesting. And so why was that part of your education? What did you want to do with that?
Oh, you want the truth?
Yeah.
All right. So the truth is that I'm always a next step guy. And so I'm like, all right, I'm in college, right? What's the next step? So I got my teaching credential, and I knew that if you get your master's, you make more money, right, as a teacher. Yes. And because it's on a scale, right? It's union. So you can only make what you can make if you meet these certain requirements. And so anyway, so I knew you get paid more for your master's. And so when I was getting my teaching credential, I was just talking to the school I was going through and looking at master's programs, and they have one that was like kind of built in so that they take all your classes that you use to get your teaching credential, and then what is the closest master's degree you are to when you have those 13 classes done or whatever. And so the closest master's degree was emphasis in cross-cultural communication. So it was like it was only like an additional 9 classes instead of like a full-on, 25 more or whatever. So I was like, nice. If that's the closest I'm to, just do that. And so I knocked that out. So I had my master's degree before the end of the first year I was teaching. And so starting my second year as a teacher, I was as far over on the pay scale as I could be. And the only way I could possibly get paid more was by years of experience.
Word.
So
I just
tried to knock that.
So you mentioned before you were kind of doing a bunch of things at once, like the Caffeine Kilos thing and running a gym and PE teaching. Were you doing all that at once? What made you?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, kind of. So the teaching and coaching was going on, and then once I kind of started the gym, right around that time, there was 2 other owners in it, and we had some good coaches, and so I was involved in that, but not like a full-time job. You know what I mean?
Okay, got you.
And then that was going well. And then when Caffeine Kilos started is when it was like completely overwhelming. When teaching, did a part-time, like half a load 1 year as a teacher, and then just totally got out.
And so what made you want to make the switch? What made you say, hey, like I'm done with PE and I'm going to go and do this venture full on?
So I've always really been interested in business. My grandfather was an entrepreneur. He had a plumbing company, and that moved into this whole air conditioning business. And that was like the family business. My dad ran it for a while and all that. And so I just kind of grown up in a family where owning a business isn't a weird thing. It's just, it's kind of what we did, like sometimes after dinner, my dad would have to go down to the shop to work a little, and we'd go with him and fuck around with sheet metal, try not to cut ourselves, And anyways, that was just kind of a part of life. And so I'd always been interested in that. My whole life, just I'd have ideas or think of something, and always kind of knew that I had an interest in business in some capacity. And so just when opportunities come up, I would just take them. I wouldn't really. It's like with the gym. It was actually a buddy of mine had started it. It was in his garage, kind of on accident. Everyone kept joining him to work out, so he decided he should start charging him. And then so he just needed some help. Like I went out there, I was talking to him, and he's like, man, he was coaching every single class and just needed help, and offered me like, hey, would you be interested? Hell yeah, and so that's that. And then just that's kind of the whole thing with Caffeine Kilos as well. Is a friend of mine, or more of an acquaintance, who kind of knew each other. He called me and asked for some advice on this competition he wanted to hold. And so we started shooting the shit about it and talking about it, and then we pursued that and moved forward with that. And it kind of turned into something bigger than what the original plan was, which is great. Now the plans are only bigger and bigger. But so I think that's really it, is just opportunity arises. I would just take it and just kind of see where it goes. I think people freak out. They don't want to pursue something because, what if, or I've got this going on. It's like, man, like, does that interest you? Like, fucking try it. You know what I mean? Maybe it's great. Maybe it's not. I don't know. But either do you. So.
Yeah, it's true. And that kind of spans into training too. Like people get nervous to try new things. And it's like the worst case scenario is you try it and it doesn't work out and you just go back to doing the same thing you were doing before.
That's exactly. Dude, I say that all the time. Like, what it's like now. Like you can always go back to
always
this.
come back to it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I listened to you guys on the Powercast, I remember a while back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think that friend you were talking about, that was Charlie Zamora, right? Is that what
Correct.
you're talking about?
Right. Yeah.
So one of the questions I have is to take it even further back. I want to take it back to how you got started into just weightlifting and sports and all that, and what led you down the path.
Well, so ever since I was a kid, I played sports. Like my parents put me in everything, right? Like I'm talking like youth soccer, basketball camps, which I was terrible at, didn't do much of. But anyway, like they always put me in sports, every sport, and encouraged me to do it and all that type of thing. And there's always that. And then I really enjoyed it and liked working out and everything, and just kind of never stopped working out. Got into CrossFit, and then that was good old times. And then from there, actually, I did my first weightlifting meet. Was in preparation for. In 2010, there's a CrossFit USA weightlifting open. They combined the two, and it was official. I know an episode or two ago, you guys were talking about the CrossFit liftoff. But what I don't know if you know this or not, in 2010, there's a competition that was in Colorado Springs that USA Weightlifting and CrossFit officially partnered on. And so you did a full weightlifting meet, and then you did one CrossFit workout, and they added your score in the workout and your total in the weightlifting meet, and combined it for a score. And that's how they did it. And they did it by weight class. And so it was funny at the time, everyone thought it was gonna be like an annual thing, but they did that one year and then didn't do it again until like a year or two ago. And they started the liftoff. It's kind of the same idea, but it was in person. So anyway, so I got some encouragement to do that because I always liked weightlifting. It was kind of, I was relatively good at it. And so I did a few weightlifting meets leading up to that because I didn't want to fly out to Colorado and do my first weightlifting meet, there. So that's kind of what got me into weightlifting. And then I'm an hour from Cal Strength. And so Glenn Penlay was still the coach at California Strength out there, and he was hosting a Penlay seminar. So I had really good experiences my first couple weightlifting meets. And so I went out to the little Penlay seminar, try and learn a little bit, met some of the guys on the team, became friends with John North, actually. And so then John's a good friend of mine still. And so I started going out there and training with those guys. And then that just kind of, that really sparks that whole thing, kicks that whole thing off. When you're training on a team next to these two guys are both current national champions, that guy's an American record holder, and that's, Glenn Penley's the coach, or even now Dave Spitz is the coach, it's just that environment you're in, like you expect to be good. It was never like, man, that's so heavy, or how am I going to lift? It's just like, it's when am I going to lift that, right? And then I got some help there. They told me, they said, okay, this year you're going to qualify for the American Open. Next year you're going to qualify for nationals. Next year you're going to place top 10 at the American Open. And then you're going to place top 10 at nationals. And you just say, okay. And then you do it. It's like not really, there's not really a lot of options out there.
And so just curious, when you started weightlifting, what were kind of your numbers at, like your snatch and your clean and jerk?
So I remember the day, not like the date, but I remember it happening like vividly. The first time I snatched over 200 pounds, it was like 215 pounds or something like that. It was like a big PR, and I was like fucking fired up, dude. And so that was about it. My first weightlifting meet, actually, there's still videos. It was only 2010, like it's forever ago, but I think I opened my snatch at like 97 kilos or something, and opened my clean and jerk at like 130, 132 or 128 or something like that.
Nice. Okay. And that's when you first started.
So that's when I first started weightlifting, right?
Okay,
like weightlifting as a sport. I'd been fucking with. I was lucky enough to, when I was in high school, one track and field coach, our throws coach, exposed us to lifts. So we did snatches, we did like snatch, power snatch, hang snatch, clean, power clean, hang clean, like kind of the differences of all of those and how to do all of those. And so I was familiar with them. So when I started CrossFit, I was like, oh, this is cool. I always kind of liked those things, and now they're a part of my life again, Okay. And so that definitely gave me a little bit of a leg up. I'm not saying the technique work he taught us was very good or anything, but I was at least aware of the lifts and knew what they kind of looked like and what they were. And so that when it was time to do them, I had a little advantage there.
Okay, cool. And so the gym now, it's still CrossFit Excel, or? That's the name. That's the full name of the gym, right? Okay.
Right. CrossFit Excel. Also Excel Health and Fitness is kind of like because we're adding more to it. Like we have some kids classes. We have a barbell club out of there.
Okay.
There's actually a yoga studio that subleases from us and part of the facility.
Nice. So. When you first started this whole thing, were you like a CrossFitter first or a weightlifter first?
CrossFitter first, for sure.
Okay, I got you. So you started with CrossFit and then kind of got into the competitive side of weightlifting.
Yeah, I started doing CrossFit in 2007, I think, something like that. And then I didn't get into competitive weightlifting until 2010.
Okay, cool. So talk a little bit about Caffeine Kilos, just kind of what it's all about and kind of how you started it and just the ideology behind it.
Yeah, so basically what it's all about is we just wanted to host a weightlifting competition and get the best lifters in the country out. And so at that time, I was competing in weightlifting at a relatively high level. And so to get some of the best lifters in the country out wasn't that big of a stretch. It was kind of ask these people I knew. It wasn't like contact. It wasn't this like barrier of contacting these people. It was like, oh no, I'll just call them up and we'll see if we can get some people out or reach out to them. And they're familiar with me and my team at least and that type of stuff. And so and also at that time, there's really no real cash prizes in weightlifting. I think the Arnold gave away a small cash prize at the time. That was it. And so we said, okay, well, if we give a cash prize and we put these people in front of an audience, what's not to like? Why would they not come? And so that year was invitation only for the weightlifting meet. So we got lifters out from all over the country. I'm talking some national champions, really high level lifters. And then we held a CrossFit competition during the day to help fund the cash prizes, and then also for a crowd, because then after the competition, they stuck around to watch the weightlifting meet and a sanctioned USA weightlifting meet, all that type of stuff. And so, it went off really well. Everyone had a great time, big lifts, and then we sold some T-shirts at the competition, and really leading up to it, we realized there was more to it than just this competition. So, man, if we can do this and kind of help out these athletes with this one thing, like imagine kind of what we could do if we made this like more of a permanent type thing rather than this one-off competition. And so we really kind of used that competition as a springboard to launch in the whole brand. And so it's always been a big part of what we do is try to help out athletes. So like we have some athletes that we pay for performance. So like if someone breaks an American record or if they place at nationals or at international competition, we pay them for that. Also, we're actually a sponsor of USA Weightlifting. We've been doing that all along. So we try and do things too that when I talk to Phil Andrews, who runs USA Weightlifting right now, we talked and it's like, all right, man, like what can we do that has an impact directly for athletes? That's always something we wanted to do. So a couple years ago, how that relationship kind of started is they sent out an email to all membership and said, hey, we're trying to get platforms for the warm-up room. We need new platforms. So we'll put a little plaque on it and it'll say whatever you want. You can dedicate to somebody, if you donate whatever it was, $100 or I don't know, $500. I really don't remember. And I just emailed him back, said, all right, well, like how many more are left? And he said, actually, all of them. I said, okay, well, we'll take them. You know what I mean? And so we bought them all, and all we put on, we said, Caffeine Kilos, proud supporter of USA Weightlifting, and that was it, And so they used those for a couple years. And so ever since then, like what I really liked about that is, like I said, is the impact directly on the athletes, right? When the people that are participating, it's like now they have these brand new platforms to warm up on, and it was nice to kind of be a part of that. It's like this year, actually, when you lift at a national meet, you get your athlete credentials. And so they're on the lanyard and has your credentials so they know who's competing. So we actually, we paid for all those basically. So if you lift at a national meet, then your lanyard and your credential and all that is something that we actually donated the money to help pay for those things because it kind of has a direct relation to the athlete.
Okay, cool.
Anyway, so that's kind of fun. It's like part of the whole vision of like, to help out.
Interesting. Okay. So it's more than I would say like apparel, because you guys are very, very, very well known for your apparel, obviously.
Right.
So it kind of spans beyond that.
Oh, absolutely. Like, and then as far as the apparel goes too, like it's all related, right? So part of the apparel side is a while ago when we first started, especially most of the shirts were like kitschy sayings on it, like my grandma has a huge snatch, like stuff like that. has like an old lady doing doing a snatch. It's like, okay, that's kind of funny, but like, I'm not really going to wear that anywhere, but especially not like outside of the gym type thing,
Yeah, right.
Man, it'd be nice if there's gym clothes that you just wear anywhere. And so Dean Sidoris, my business partner, he's always kind of understood fashion and been the cool kid, knows what's up. And so he drives all of our designs right now. And so, or always has. And so that was kind of the whole idea behind the apparel, is just to make cool stuff, make stuff you could wear in the gym, or you can wear out of the gym. You can wear to a family birthday party. You could wear to dinner. You'd wear anywhere, and looks good, and so we can still kind of represent what you're all about and not look like a total fucking douche.
Which is cool because CrossFitters and weightlifters like to just wear their CrossFit and weightlifting shit everywhere they go.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, depending on what kind of, like, dude, like me, like I taught PE and now it's Caffeine Kilos in the gym. Like, dude, I wear like mesh shorts and t-shirts every day. You know what I mean? And so a lot of people, if you're really into fitness, really into weightlifting, really into, like you usually wear workout clothes most of the time, because you're going to go work out anyway,
Yeah, absolutely. So why Caffeine and Kilos? Where did you guys come up with that?
So that's kind of funny. There's kind of two ideas. There's the competition was one, and then the other idea of like, we can make this apparel that looks good, right? And then the name Caffeine and Kilos, Caffeine and Kilograms. We weren't really sure exactly what that was going to be. We were just talking about it. And originally there were almost two separate ideas. Like they were like almost the same time, like one day and then the next day, right? Type thing. Same people. And then kind of funny, I'm actually looking at the programming for the competition. And I'm looking at it and I'm trying to figure out like, what are we going to name this competition? Like we didn't have a name for it. And we're just like thinking about it and I'm looking at it. And then I just like have this revelation. I'm like, dude, it's got to be Caffeine and Kilos. Like it just makes sense. Like the way the competition's set up, it was kind of skewed towards weightlifting because there's this weightlifting meet at the end of it. So it was like they can do a max clean and jerk and then watch best in the country do it. You know what I mean? Right, yeah. And I'm like, man. And I was like, in my head, I'm going, it has to be Caffeine and Kilos. It's the same idea. We got to name it Caffeine and Kilos. And as I'm thinking of that, my phone starts ringing. Like the screen on my phone changes from the programming to a phone call, and I answer it, and he goes, "Hey, dude, we got to call the competition Caffeine and Kilos." Like, son of a bitch. Like that's exactly like I was literally having that exact same thought when my phone rang, right? And so that's when we kind of realized, like, no, they're actually the same idea,
Okay, cool.
And we're a couple bros like drinking coffee and lifting weights, and everyone we know that works out drinks coffee and pretty much. And I mean, caffeine is the number one tested and proven ergogenic aid. So it all just kind of makes sense, and that's where it all came around. And nice. Then that same time, like that same phone call, I think we're like, dude, not only that, like we got to make our own coffee. Like we got to figure that out. And so that all kind of sprung into that same thing.
Yeah. How did that's probably the toughest part. Like you can make shirts and do stuff like that and you want good quality shirts, but like coffee, and especially in the health and fitness community, making the coffee a good quality because everyone's either, paleo or don't want toxins or this or whatever. So if you could go into how you got the coffee thing going, the coffee side, because I'm intrigued. I love coffee and I'm intrigued of how like you find the right beans and all that stuff and how you guys went about it.
Oh no. Frozen in time.
You open your computer.
You're frozen.
Oh, we got you.
Step one, you open your computer and you open Google. And then you type in coffee roasters, right? And then so I actually called 3, 4, 5 people. I don't even know how many. But one guy I talked to who was really interested is actually here in Sacramento, and we're from Sacramento area. And so he was fired up. He's like, everyone always just calls and says they want the best coffee ever, but you're saying you want good tasting coffee that has higher caffeine. Like, this is really interesting. Let me look into this, And he was like all excited into it. And so anyways, that was kind of that. And then he put together a bunch of different blends and everything. And we tested them all and kind of picked what our original blend was going to be, which is still our most popular one. It's called the PR blend. And it has about 50% more caffeine than like a standard cup of coffee. But the thing is that it tastes really good. Like you'd never know. And that's kind of funny. That was one of the discussions. Well, after you drink it, but it's one of the discussions is if we know it has higher caffeine, there's 2 ways to go. Do we want it to like taste really good and really smooth still? Or do we want it to taste like gasoline? Like there's kind of And we're like, no, let's actually have it be good. Something you want to drink. And
smart.
Yeah, exactly.
So now your personal opinion, the way you kind of go things, are you a caffeine cycler, or are you just same amount of coffee day in, day out, or do you go up and down? Do you cycle on and off of levels of caffeine?
I cycle on and off depending on how tired I am that day.
Okay, I got you.
So that basically, no, I drink the same thing every day. Just some days, I don't know. No, it's pretty much the same. I usually have 1 or 2 cups in the morning and then a cup in the afternoon. That's about it. About 3 a day total.
Awesome.
Somewhere around there.
Nice.
But my household, it's funny, man. My wife's a nurse and she works nights. And so there's a lot of coffee there too. And so anyway, there's just, it's not like, oh, let me make some more. There's just always a pot of coffee pretty much everywhere I am.
Always ready to rock.
Yeah. And even with that, I still keep it. Right now I'm at about, like I said, 2 to 3 cups a day. So it varies. When I'm training more seriously, usually there's a little more. But
okay. Good segue into training. So we kind of wanted to talk about the training side of things with you as well. So first of all, with you, are you are you CrossFitting right now? Are you weightlifting? What does your training look like?
Right now, I'm doing old man fitness, is what I kind of call it. And so basically what that means is I work out 3 to 4 times a week for about an hour at a time. And it's basically longevity stuff right now. Anyways, that's kind of where I'm at. So I do basically what that looks like. If you want to know more about that, is basically 2 days a week. I do the class at my gym. And so there's a little bit of strength and then the CrossFit workout. The workouts are normally, they're always less than 20 minutes, probably 15 minutes or so, the actual Metcon portion. And then another day or two, I'll do barbell WOD. If you do the barbell WOD workouts, basically just some squats and pulls, maybe some cleans or snatches, whatever they've got programmed for those days. It's a 3-day week program, but I just kind of I get 2 a weekend right now, and then do the 2 days of CrossFit, and that's about it. And then I go for some walks. I like to in the morning get up, walk for 15-20 minutes, try and get that in a couple days a week. So that's really pretty much where it's at.
That's interesting you say that, because when we spoke with Jay Leiden, he his kind of template for week to week training was pretty much almost identical to what you just said, a couple days a week of high intensity, a couple days a week of maybe some longer stuff, and then he does some fighting stuff, some grappling stuff one other day.
Right. Yeah. Instead of take out the grappling stuff and add in barbell stuff for the 2 days, so they're 2 days, and then that there it is. And really that's relatively low volume. It's in a day where it's just the barbell stuff would be one of the lifts, either cleans or snatches, right? And then some sort of a squat, and then something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there you go.
So it's pretty low volume. It'll either be push presses or some some pulls or something, whatever. But it's not a ton of volume. It's in and out in an hour. And part of what that is, man, is with everything I got going on with 2 kids, 2 businesses, and all that, and growing businesses at that require more and more time. There's recovery is a very real thing, and there's only so much time in the day. And I could get up earlier, and I already get up at 4:45, but whatever, I could work that out. I could fit in more time to train, but something else got to give. If I train for an hour and a half in the morning, then when do I read? When do I do my self-education? Right. You know what I mean? If I did it later at night, after the kids are in bed, well then when do I sleep? Or when do I spend any time with my wife? You know what I mean? And basically between those 2 time periods, I'm working or eating dinner with my family, And so at this point, it's kind of what? This is what I've got time to do. This is where it fits. And that's where it is. At some point in my life, I would like to kind of get it going a little more. But right now, man, it's about just trying to be healthy and feel good.
Yeah, recovery is one of those unsexy things that people just don't care about. They just want to hit the next Metcon and do the next heavy max out lift. But it's
right.
Training. What I always tell clients and people I work with is training. You build zero muscle when you're in the gym.
Right.
None. You are just digging a hole. You have to fill that hole Either it's walks or eating or sleep, just like you said.
Right. Well, and I think stress, people get fucked up. Like, they don't understand, like, stress is stress. Like, your body doesn't know if you're stressed out from work or if you're stressed out from exercise, you know? And when I was still competing, I was on the Cal Strength. They have a couple programs. They have a 5-day-a-week program. They have a nine session a week program. And I was doing the 9 for a long time, or like most of it anyway. Like the double days, 3 days a week were double days. I would either just do the squats from the morning session and then try to fit in the other stuff in the afternoon session or whatever. Because I was still teaching at the time, but kind of trying to make it work. And I was doing that. And then at one point I realized, like, man, I'm just kind of not recovering. So I switched over to the once a day, 5-day-a-week program. And then I started actually hitting new PRs, you know, and so it was actually doing a little bit less volume was actually better for me because of the other stuff I had going on, the other stressors in my life, you know?
I feel like it's becoming more and more evident that less is more, particularly with training, you know, especially if you're that intermediate to high level athlete, especially like the less you do, the more results you're going to see, the more gains you're going to see in your training.
Well, it depends on what else you have going on in life. If all you do is work out and nap and eat, like shit,
then
like,
you're good.
Hell no. Yeah, dude. Then you got 9. Shoot, let's get a 10th session in. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, like probably go on Sunday and do some like light stuff, just like recovery, feel good type thing. You know what I mean? But yeah, if you have like I don't know, like a job, or school or family or anything like that, really, that has any other sort of stress on you, then yeah, absolutely.
Which is most people, you know, I mean, with the exception of the high-end athletes who that's all they're doing, that's their job. I mean, even elite level CrossFitters, man, most of them are still working, going to school, all that. So it's kind of like, when are you recovering?
Yeah, exactly.
So I wanted to ask you a question about specifically weightlifting training. Kind of fundamentally with what as it applies to beginners, you know, so someone who's getting into weightlifting, just kind of picking it up, or maybe they're crossing over from CrossFit and just getting into weightlifting. What do you feel like are some of the mistakes or things that people do wrong when they're just starting out weightlifting?
I think that one thing is that some people use their setup in the snatch or the clean like they're doing a deadlift, and they don't understand how to use their legs, meaning that they think I'm picking the bar up off the ground, so then they go to pick it up like a deadlift, where that is not ideal. So you should sink your hips down so that you actually want the center of your shoulder. So the center of your shoulder should be directly over the barbell. Okay. And if you want to continue that line just for fun, and the barbell should be directly over your metatarsal phalangeal joints. That's the balls of your feet, where your toes hook in your foot, right? And so that should be a straight line. Yeah. And so it should go the balls of your feet, the barbell, and then the center of your shoulder. And so like people get messed up. They're like, well, how high should my hips be? It's like, honestly, I don't give a shit where your hips are. I want the shoulder to be directly over the bar. And then your femur length is going to determine where your hips are. And so then from that position, instead of thinking of pulling the bar like you pull a deadlift, you should actually push your feet through the ground. Think of it like a squat. So when you're in that position, then move your legs like you're doing a back squat, but instead of the bar being on your back, it's hanging from your arms, right? And so just that one, like if you just understand that fundamental difference of how to get the bar off the ground, you're going to be in a so much better position. And so just that simple, like breaking the bar off the ground, using your legs and your body the right way, makes a huge difference. And then one more little thing, one more other thing though, is that people are so funny, man. Like, oh, you should, like bang the bar off your hips. No, you should just brush it. No, it says shrug and it says jump. And it's funny, everyone has these different things, but I've actually, through Caffeine Kilos and through California Strength, I've been able to talk to and actually train under some of the best coaches in the US and really some internationally. All right. So, Glenn Penley, Dave Spitz, Sean Waxman, Ursula Garza Papanderas, and then you get into Kyle Pierce, and then Alexei Tarakti and his coach Sergey Putsov. Alexei was like 2012 Olympic gold medalist, right? So like these are just then there's more. That's just like a handful. And what I realized is that actually everyone teaches the same thing. They just have different ways of explaining it. You know what I mean? And so then people misinterpret what they're teaching is really what's going on. So with that kind of long lead up to this is that you never want to hit the bar with your body. what you need to do is by using your lats, by using your back, you want to keep the bar close, right? So any contact with the bar is a product of pulling the bar close to you, not moving forward into the bar. So that's a big mistake, because people are trying to like jump into the bar, like throw their body into the bar, which is terrible. You want your energy going up. So anyway, so it's all about any contact that's made is from keeping the bar close to you, pulling it into you, not the opposite. So there you go. Those are the two kind of like, I think they're both actually like relatively technical, which I know isn't always best for new people. But it's like, if you can figure those two things out, like you're in good shape, you know?
What's the best piece of advice that you could give as like a coach and an experienced weightlifter? What is the best piece of advice that you could give to someone who wants to start weightlifting or just getting into weightlifting and kind of unsure of what they're doing?
Don't do it. It's fucking terrible. Have you
Don't
trained?
Do it, man.
Have you trained a full?
It's like
Have you trained a full-time weightlifter? It's terrible. It's exhausting. It's funny, man. Like, talk to people who've done CrossFit too and weightlifting. It's like, do like CrossFit or whatever, any sort of like other training. Like, you look at stairs and you're like really sore, and you're going, man, like I can make it up though. It's gonna really hurt though, right? Like, I'm sore. When you're training full-time weightlifting, you look at stairs and you're like, I don't know if I can physically make it up those.
I don't have the engine.
So how about
yeah, like,
go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. So, but if they're totally convinced they want to do it,
not even like a competitive, like full-time weightlifter, someone who just wants to maybe start picking it up a couple days a week, or just make that the focal point of their training.
Minimize misses. So you absolutely cannot tolerate missing lifts. And but I almost made it. Yeah, you're right. You almost did. But then what happened? You fucking didn't. So like, you don't want to ingrain that bad habit. And so the whole thing is, and this is early on in my weightlifting career, whatever you want to call it. I wasn't very good at this, partially because some coaches I had were just like, nah, man, let's keep going. And just like, keep going for stuff. And I'll tell you what, I actually had really big improvements relatively, like on the national stage, relatively quick in that way. But you know what else is? I've also had a shoulder surgery that set me back a while. I also hyperextended my elbow 2 or 3 different times. And actually, it's been bothering me recently. Like, I need to go actually get that taken care of. And so it's like little stuff like that. In just 5 years in the sport, those things add up. And you know what? Those never happened on made lifts, you know? And another thing is with kids, this is what you do. And so I think if you know this, you got to understand. So in countries where they start kids younger, or like I have a friend of mine is Canadian, Bodhi Savanti. He's like one of the best Canadian weightlifters right now. His father was like lifted a really high level and all this type of stuff. So he started when they were kids, and you just ingrain technique as kids, and they're just not strong enough to do it wrong. Like, they either use the right technique or they miss the lift because they have no strength, because they're 8 years old. You know what I mean? They don't back squat double body weight. Like, they have there's no way. So they make the lift or they don't, and their technique is a product of that. You know what I mean? It's not like faking any makes, right? They're not muscling out a snatch when they're 10 years old or 8 years old. So then they lift, and their technique then is so good. Then as they get stronger, as they go through puberty and in their teen years, and their strength comes in and their squatting starts paying off and they're getting dividends from that, the technique is second nature, right? And so then there's very few injuries, and they don't miss a lot, okay? Whereas you take classic American, at least currently or up until a couple of years ago, starts when you're 26 years old or 23 years old, and you already are back squatting double body weight and deadlifting 2.5 times your body weight. Like, if you're a strong individual and you start weightlifting, then it's like the bar, your technique is kind of shitty and the bar's not where it's supposed to be, but you make it anyway. And so then what happens when it's not exactly where it should be, but it's close, you can muscle out a few makes, and then you're teaching bad habits. And so you just need to think of, like, be the kid who, you know, is fucking weak, right? But like, then you just got to think of it like that. Like, if it's not right, if it's not exactly where it needs to be, like, take some weight off the bar and practice making good lifts and take the time to do that, and it'll pay off in the end.
Word. That needs to go on Instagram. What he just said right there. We're just making a mental note.
Tell everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't give a fuck. So what would you say? So give this 26-year-old dude, you know, he's not a child anymore, who's, you know, perfectly ready to start just, hammering away their technique, right? I'm new to weightlifting and I'm 26 and I'm already strong. What should my first 6 months to 12 months of like training look like as far as frequency, volume, what I should be working on, what should I be focusing on? Just like a quick like overview.
Honestly, I would find it really doesn't matter what, to be like, for the most part. I mean, it does and it doesn't, but like, you just got to get on a program and stick to it. And that really makes a difference. Don't be a program hopper. Don't be a dirty program hopper. I would highly encourage you. So the barbell WOD is Cal Strength runs that program. They have a 3-day week and a 5-day a week. And it's basically designed to do that in addition to like what else you do. Like say you're a CrossFitter or you're going to do whatever else. You just want to do some barbell work. So it's like less than an hour a day and 3 days a week or 5 days a week. But you touch on everything and it's intelligently programmed. Progressive overload. It's done the right way. And so I think that's really important. Or if you're all in on weightlifting, that's all you want to do. Actually, Cal Strength has like a Cal Strength club program. Like I said, it's like 5 days a week. And I know it sounds like I'm pushing Cal Strength right now, but it's because like I followed their programs. I know it's good. I know it works. Like I know the way it's programmed is like an intelligently programmed design, and that's really important. And something kind of fun that they do. There's a lot of programs are just like straight off percentages, or a lot of are the opposite where it's like go by feel. And that's kind of tough. What I really like they do is week 1 of a cycle, say it's a 6-week cycle. Week 1 is percentages. And then every week after that, you add weight. It's not like 70% this week, 72 next week. It's like 70%. And then next week, it's like add 2 kilos. Next week, add 2 kilos. Next week, add 2 kilos. So it's a progressive overload, but it's not based on percentages. It's based off of the percentages of week 1. And so something about that gets people to, anyway, I feel like that's a really good way to do it and kind of put you where you should be. So I think that'd be the what should it look like is it should look like, like I can't right now, like off the top of my head, tell you a program that's going to be perfect. You know what I mean? For everybody, like nobody could. You know what I mean? Like you need to get on a program and follow it, whatever that is. You know, if you go on Train Heroic, there's 4 or 5 different weightlifting programs on there. I know Sean Waxman has a weightlifting programming on there.
Yeah.
Just find something that you like and stick with it for 6 months, and do not deviate from whatever program you're on for 6 months. Guy Dan John, what do I say? The goal of the program is to follow the program, right? Like that's 100%.
Word. No, so you'd say that's like one of the first steps is like find a good program and stick with it, especially
find a good program and stick with it. Like the only reason you should not stick with it is if like you are just like, wow, this is like, I don't know. If it's someone who has no idea what they're doing and like you have no idea what you're doing. Another thing would be get coaching, like find somebody local who knows what they're doing. And even if you don't want to like go see them all the time or it's a far drive, like once a week for 6 weeks, you need to go see somebody and then train your own the rest of the time. Because without having a pair of eyes on you, you are going to do stuff wrong, you know?
Okay. And then how about you specifically in your training? Like when you were a beginner, when you first started with weightlifting, what were some of the best things that you were taught or told that kind of helped you become the weightlifter that you are today?
Expectations. So, like when I first started competing, or first started like really training, I should say, like I said, I was sat down, they just told me like, hey, this is what's going on. Like, you're going to qualify, and the next year then you're going to place top 10, and like all of that came true. You know what I mean? And it's because there wasn't like this mental barrier of like, well, how am I ever going to, you know, like this is my first competition. I snatched 98 kilos, or I might have made a lift at 102 or something, right? And then it's like 5 years later, I'm snatching 141 in competition. You know, we're talking like a significant, and that's over time, but it's also with the expectations of the people you train with, and anyone can do that, you know? And so I think that those high expectations. And then also I did what I kind of suggested is that I drove an hour once a week to train with somebody to get coached by somebody. And so every single Sunday that's how I spent my Sundays for like a year, is I would drive an hour out. And anyway, insurance guys, in the room next to me, I walked in this morning and my entire office was filled with balloons. So no,
just a balloon day,
just Caffeine Kilos warehouse. So anyway, so just through the window, I see like people standing on my desk taking pictures of my office filled with balloons. Side note.
Classic.
Yeah. Yep. I walked in, I was like, oh, that's what we're doing.
That's what today's going to be like. All right, cool.
I looked at our customer service girl who was blow. I was like, what time did you get here this morning to blow these things up?
It's like 4 a.m. I'm going home early today.
Stayed late last night was the answer.
Okay, all right.
All right, Danny, we want to wrap it up, man. But before we go, we want to do a quick lightning round so our folks at home get to know you. So, yeah, we're going to go through a quick lightning round off the top of your head. Think as the least amount you can and just go for it.
No problem there.
All right. Are tomatoes a fruit or a vegetable?
Oh, they're fruit.
Who's your favorite Harry Potter character?
I don't watch that shit.
Great answer. Have you ever
I actually know zero like Harry Potter, I guess, is the only one I know of.
Good answer. Have you ever stolen anything?
Yeah. You know what, though? I don't know what. Yes is what popped in my head, but when I think about what, you know what? Actually, just like a weekend ago, which is funny.
Oh, shit.
No, it was a hotel. It was,
okay.
It was a hotel. Not that makes, anyway, on the, the nightstand, there was it was a wine opener, but it was like this really nice wine bottle opener, but it had a thing on it where you can take off the little foil part. And I was like, man, why don't more wine bottle openers have this little thing to take off the foil part? And then it was like pretty cheap and plastic. And I'm like, well, like they don't care if you take the pens and it has their logo on it. Like, I bet this is probably complimentary. And then I took it and my wife's like, I don't know if you were supposed to take that. And I was like, oh, it's a cheap plastic thing. Like, I think it's fine. Like, it has the hotel. So does that count?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that counts.
Okay.
It's public knowledge now, so nothing you could do about it. Do you think anyone considers you a hipster?
Yeah. I haven't got a haircut in a year.
Word. So, like, out of 10 people, how many do you think would think you're a hipster?
I don't know, but this is what I do know. It's kind of funny. Is, you know what happens? It's becoming a thing that's happening to me all the time. Is when I travel, I meet people for the first time, and then within like 4 or 5 hours, they offer me pot.
They just like, no, like, do you accept? Do you smoke weed? Like, you could say, or
no,
not?
like it's not a part of my daily life. You know what I mean? But like I'm telling you, it gets like, I don't know why, and it cracks me up. And so it's like, actually, Aaron, he does like our YouTube channel. Anyway, so he travels with me a lot to like film stuff for the Caffeine Kilos YouTube. And like we joke about it, but it's all the time. Like everywhere I go, like at some point, someone's like, "Oh, hey, by the way, like he wants it." I'm like, "What? Why do you?" I don't ask. I'm usually polite. I'm like, "Oh, no, thanks, whatever." But like, it's so funny. It happens all the time.
From California.
So that's what. Yeah, that's the answer of
super laid back. We'll just give them some pot.
Yeah.
Pot. That's what they think.
Yeah, maybe that's why when you asked if people think I'm a hipster, I said yeah, because that's, I don't know, that's
because people offer you pot all the time. All right, cool.
That's awesome.
Makes sense, right?
What's the sound you make if you are freezing cold?
I try not to make any noises. I don't want to off gas all this warmth.
Okay, so you like to conceal it. You keep it in.
Does it ever get cold there or what?
Well, this morning it was like 35, but that's about as cold as it gets.
Wow. All right.
Not bad.
And but that's in the morning. Like that's middle of the night. Like right now, it's probably like 50 already, 52, something like that.
It's like 20 degrees here in Connecticut. So.
Yeah. But there's like no humidity, so even when it's cold, it's not like that. I don't know. It's different.
Word. What's your favorite martial art?
Oh, jiu-jitsu, I'd say, just because my wrestling background.
Nice. Oh yeah, you mentioned you're a wrestler before. Cool.
Rub on some people.
L.A. or New York?
Oh, L.A. Which I actually don't really like L.A. I'm Northern California, but still, you got to go California.
I was gonna say, so if you're a NorCaler, you're not like there's like the whole thing between NorCal and SoCal, right? It's like battle of the fucking divisions.
LA, man, like LA is fucking terrible. Like, there's parts of it that are really nice. Like, there's some like beach areas that are really nice, but like LA itself is like just awful as far as like, traffic. And when you get inland, it's fucking hot, and it's just like it's weird hot. Anyway, but you're like coastal, you get a breeze, so it's not the like anyway.
Word.
Talking about stuff.
Sour Patch Kids or Swedish Fish?
Oh, Sour Patch Kids.
Yes.
Nice.
Answer. Great answer.
Scale 1 to 10. How good are you at trivia?
10.
Nice.
There we go.
Good answer. Super Mario Brothers or Zelda?
Super Mario Brothers. I'm realizing my 10 answer on trivia, I couldn't name anybody from Harry Potter, so I guess that probably makes me like a 7.
Last question, weird one. If Tupac appeared before you right now, what's the first thing you would ask him?
Hey, man, what's up?
What's up, man? Just a general what's up. I like it.
And anybody who answers something different is a fucking liar. Because you know why? Because you wouldn't say hello, sir, or hi. You'd walk up and you'd be like, hey, man, what's up? And then you would ask her a question. So the first question would be, hey, man, what's up?
True. Even though they have been coming out continuously.
Did I just make your lightning round the slowest lightning round in the history of the world?
No, we want the most, like, the most we can get out of you possible is the best. Yeah, that was entertaining. But my favorite question was the Harry Potter question. Who's your favorite Harry Potter character? Fucking none of them, dude. I don't fuck with that shit.
And it's not like some machismo, like, that's nerd shit. I mean, it is nerd shit. Like, I don't care about that. Like, whatever. Like, I actually just read this whole, like, series of books, Red Rising. It's really good. You should read it. Anyway, nice. But it's all, like, sci-fi, which is not really what I'm into. But, like, if it's good, it's good. I just haven't read it.
I have one last question that just popped in my head when you mentioned books. You talked about having time for reading and doing your continuing education. And clearly with your background, you know, you are into that. So what are you what's the book you're reading right now?
Oh, right now I'm always like cycling through 2 or 3. So I'm reading one. It's about giving presentations. I have a presentation at the Fitness Business Summit in March. And so instead of just like winging it, I'm reading this book all about it. And it's by, her name's Nancy something. Anyway, it's like the main book on giving presentations. I can't think of the title right now. Anyway, so I'm reading that slowly. And then I'm also reading The Subtle Art of Not Giving a...
Nice. That's getting more popular.
So those are the 2. And then also on the back burner, I get a few pages in every now and then of this book called The Ultimate Sales Machine, which is the worst title for one of the best business books I've ever read. Because it's not like all about sales. It's about like running a business and structuring a business and all that. But it's by his name's Chet something or other. So that's what I'm on right now. No fun fiction books right now. Although usually I try to sneak those into.
Word.
Read some Harry Potter, man.
Yeah, get into it.
I should. What I found was that, so I was only reading business books. And what I found is that when I read non-business books and read fiction books, I actually have more ideas. Because I think like your imagination and your brain's working, whatever. So I usually try to read like one business book and one fiction book every day, right? Like I'll read like whatever much time I have. Like I'll start in the business book, and then whenever I've kind of had enough of that, I switch to fiction.
I like that.
Yeah. And so if you're gonna read for 30 minutes, maybe do like whatever 10 and 1 and 20, you know, whatever kind of, if you're into it that day, maybe it's the whole time on the business thing, but usually it's like get a chapter in and then switch over, something like that. Right now it's this presentation.
Yeah. Stealing that method for sure. All right, Danny, thank you so much for joining us, dude. Before we go, though, just real quick, man, plug your stuff, your Instagram, social media, Caffeine and Kilos, all that.
Yep, caffeineandkilos.com, all spelled out. And then also, we're just starting a podcast. If you're listening to podcasts, you can go and subscribe to that also. It is called Gas Station Cappuccino. But if you search Caffeine and Kilos, you'll find that also. And then, my name is Danny Lehr. So there we go. DannyLehr.com, I guess you can find me. You're
on like Instagram and all that, or is it just like the Caffeine Kilos Instagram?
Instagram is at Caffeine and Kilos on Instagram.
Nice.
That's our most popular social avenue.
Beautiful. All right, Danny, thank you so much for joining us, dude, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Want more of the Strength Students podcast? Go check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Also, make sure you leave us a 5-star review on iTunes and on Stitcher. Stitcher, I just met her. Hey! Welcome back. Our little Christmas stormtroopers out there. And that was Danny Lehr. Awesome dude. A lot of personality. Dope dude. Yeah. You were telling me, should we not, the fish thing? Should we say that on YouTube? I don't know
if people are weird or not about it.
But it's on YouTube, so whatever. It's on YouTube, so.
Oh, yeah, we'll post a video.
There's a video of Danny Lehr fishing on YouTube. That's all we're going to say. Go watch that if you have spare time.
He sent it to us.
He's a crazy motherfucker.
Is it on YouTube?
Yeah, the link you sent me was YouTube.
Was it? Oh,
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Can't not offend anyone these days, so fuck it, right? Don't give a shit anymore. I don't care. I'm really angry. Sorry. Go.
All right, guys, before we wrap it up here, guys and gals,
guys and one gal,
we're going to do a little Who's Back today, a little Who's Back Christmas edition. So we're going to do our top 5 who is back for the Christmas season. So Nick, let's start with you, man. What's your top 5 who's back for Christmas?
Who's back or what's back? Doesn't it? Whatever.
Who cares?
So what's back for Christmas? Number 1 for me, my least favorite thing, small talk with relatives at the holidays. So what are you doing now? Oh, what type of career is that? What's training like? You know what I need to do? I need to lose 20 pounds. And then they try to fucking talk to you forever.
Yeah, then you get the free nutrition advice.
While they're eating cookies. It's just like, you're so... Whatever, I hate it. So,
you know what? I eat pretty well. No, you don't. You probably don't.
Number 2, and I've dealt with this full bore, coming off of sugar addiction and trying to get back into a meal prep plan. You literally feel like you're an addict. Like you have like leftover. That's why I don't bring leftovers home. You got cookies in the house, and you're like, oh, it's breakfast. I'm just gonna have eggs and like some spinach, and I'll be good. And they're just there, and you're hungry, and your blood sugar drops, and it's just bad. Number 3, I have a snow shovel in the face.
Classic.
Long story short, I was trying to be really nice a couple of years ago and shovel Steve's house. None of his family was home, just the 2 females, mom and sister, and I decided to go shovel the driveway because I was bored.
We trying to say, dude, females can't shovel?
Just being nice, and I was bored. So snow shovel, the edge of the snow shovel, not the bottom, but the handle, plastic handle broke off and the steel rod went into my face, and I haven't shoveled snow since. So your mom had to take me to the hospital.
You got a phobia now.
Plastic surgeon had to come. It was great. Number 4, freezing the first 20 minutes of your commute once you get into your car. You're blasting the heat and you're just like shaking and holding onto the wheel. I'm like, oh my God, when's this heat going to fucking turn on?
Never.
Please, God. You get in your car at 0 degrees. And then number 5. So I'm not a big like Christmas guy. I don't get like too excited about stuff like Christmas music. I fucking hate it and like whatever. But the one thing I do get really excited about is The Grinch is on. Jim Carrey is the Grinch.
Yes.
Which is the funniest.
Jim Carrey's Grinch, baby.
Oh my God. So great.
Greatest.
hate. Double loathe entirely.
That's a great film.
Oh, he's the
I think
best.
It's better than the original.
Jazzercise, 5 o'clock.
Stare into the abyss.
Dinner with myself. I can't cancel that again.
All right, my top 5. What's back? Number 1, ugly sweaters are back. They are back, just as they always are. Ugly sweater parties.
Yeah.
So you would think that all these years of ugly sweaters getting more and more crazy and creative and ridiculous, I feel like it's actually going the other way because it's becoming such a popular thing that ugly sweaters are just getting made now.
Okay.
So you just go out and buy whatever ugly sweater you want. There's no creativity, no innovation. You don't have to like create your own ugly sweater or find an actual ugly sweater. It's like or they're made now.
Buy your Christmas sweater local.
Yeah, always local and organic. Number 2, who's back is Christmas cookies, which don't lie, no one likes that shit. They're just regular sugar cookies. They look great,
then
give you a nostalgic feeling, but
taste like shit.
They're not that great. I mean, if anyone has a great cookie recipe, Christmas cookie recipe, send it our way. I'll try them out. But cookies thus far, I mean, let's be honest, we all just wish that they were like a plate of chocolate chip cookies or like Oreos or something.
They're like sawdust.
They look great, fun to make, don't taste great.
Unless they're Italian cookies with the little leaves. The leaf. Pink.
Oh, I thought that was a pot leaf.
Nah.
Okay. Well, number 3, who's back is gloves. Trying to get your keys out of your pocket with your gloves on, which easily adds another 5 minutes to you trying to get out the door in the morning or anywhere. Just with big bulky gloves and no feeling in the gloves, trying to reach around in your pocket.
I see you like at home in your underwear.
Trying to fish hook the freaking key out of your. Can't even tell where they are. So then you got to take the gloves off again and get the keys out of the pocket.
I see you at home with like normal clothes on and just gloves.
Just
and you're
gloves,
like trying to drink tea
get shit.
and you're dropping shit. The TV remote, you like can't
my number 4, who's back? Snow sneaking into your boots when you're either shoveling or doing anything outside.
I don't even own boots.
That's an atrocity. You think you're all like patched up and covered head to toe, and you got the pants over the boots, and you're like, nothing will penetrate this layer. Then it creeps in. You feel that nice cold sensation in your ankle, and then it goes down your leg and then gets stuck under your heel.
Nothing worse than wet socks.
Oh, man. And you got wet, cold socks when you're outside shoveling. Fun times. And then my number 5, who's back, making snow tracks in your car, in your driveway with your car, which then makes it impossible to shovel the snow up off the driveway. Everyone's done it, right? First snow, drive up the driveway, and then you get into the garage, get the shovel out, and you go to shovel, and whatever parts you drove over with your car are just, it's over. You're not shoveling that shit up. That's stuck there for life. Surprised that shit doesn't last through the spring, man. It's so padded down. I'm surprised it doesn't last through the spring and summer. That shit is fucking padded down.
Let's move to California. We can avoid all this, like most of that list.
So those are our top 5 who's back for Christmas season.
Christmas.
Thank you for watching, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed Danny Lehr. And as always, we guys appreciate and love all your views, all your listens, and love all your feedback. So keep watching, keep supporting the show, and we'll keep supporting you with our knowledge
And our sports bras.
Yeah, and don't be surprised that once the New Year's time rolls around, you're going to be seeing some changes. Changes. One Direction voice. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for us today. Want to thank all of our sponsors, Manchester Guitar Center, 46 Tremont Street, our studio.
Don't give my address out.
How do you like this place, man?
Don't.
Sweet place, right?
I know what you're going to...
How'd you find it?
This guy Steve
And
Cardi
we'll talk
found
to you.
it. Then he got a girlfriend and he left us all.
Word. Well, it's such a great apartment. I wanted my friends to enjoy it.
Oh my God.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Steve.
You're welcome.
Oh.
All right, guys, that wraps
used
it
to
up
be your
for us.
room too.
Yeah. I like what you've done with the place.
Yeah, it's way better.
All right, guys, that wraps it up for us today. Number 69, episode 69 with Danny Lehr.
Yeah.
Hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you next episode.
Bye.
Deuces. Want more of the Strength Students podcast? Go check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Also, make sure you leave us a 5-star review on iTunes and on Stitcher. Stitcher, I just met her.